I guess that, like all of us, you have been following the recent statements of Marcus Rashford, the way that he's been speaking out, and like in many times that sportsmen or sportswomen try to go beyond football or beyond sports and try to make social or political comments, many people tell them to stick to football, stick to sports. I would like to ask you, what do you think about his recent statements, and what do you think about this part of criticism that ask people like Rashford or like you, for example, to stick to sport, to stick to football?
Yeah, because maybe these stupid people don't believe that you are a human beings too. We can have an opinion the same like a nurse or a doctor or even a politician. So before what we have a human beings. Why should not say our opinion when you believe you can do a better society when we are a public? And what Raheem Sterling have done many times of players on our club, and that's came Marco Rashford or whatever. Of course, they have to use his platforms to make a better society. So they don't need to do to get more money. Fortunately for them, they have enough, so they do it to be a better place to live for their families, for our kids, for the next generations. And that's why always when the people say, "But it's not enough." No, no, of course it's not enough, but to start from here. And I admire a lot these kind of gestures because they do it for all of us.
Okay. Thank you, Fred. Jeremy Cross from the Star.
Hi, Pep.
Hi.
Your appointment of Juan is obviously a guy you know very well and you've worked with before. Does his arrival at the club mean it's more likely that you may stay at City beyond the end of next season?
For my contract?
Yeah.
We'll have time to discuss about this. So we're going to finish the previous season. We have 2 months ahead of us to finish as best as possible next season. We will have time to talk about this. Only I can say is, like I said, since the first day, how delight I am here, how happy I'm doing my job, how comfortable I am, especially with the players and the staff and backroom staff and the board meeting, the board, sorry, people. So I don't have any complaints about anything about the club they offer me from the day one. So we can do better, yeah, of course. That's why we are working every day. But about extend or not or longer, we will see. We have time to talk about this.
Thank you, Jeremy. We come next to James Robson from the Standard. James.
Hi, Pep.
Hi.
One of the shames about the way that football will come back without any fans there is that someone like David Silva won't get the send-off that he deserves for being one of, if not City's greatest ever player. Just want to know your thoughts on that. And also, can you confirm if he has actually said that he will definitely be staying on to the end of this season?
Yeah, he will stay until the end of the season. And yeah, it's unfortunately, he's going to finish his last games here without people, but he's coming back. And hopefully himself, the club, can, of course, organize or have the real farewell from him in front of the people. Always the big clubs, they become incredible clubs. It's a huge club when they make this kind of gestures to these kind of incredible players that they have done for more than 1 decade. For this club became like this club, for example, is right now, and David is one of them. Like was Vincent Company, like was Joe Hart, it was Yaya Toure, it was all these players, Pablo Zabaleta, and I would say more names. Sorry for the guy, I forget the names, but they know exactly what they have done for this club. Become the club it is right now. So yeah, but the situation is what it is. So no one's wanted, and not just for David especially, but for everyone. So now how to adapt when everything is coming back for the the normal situations. I think the club, they're going to make an agreement with David, and they're going to do what you have to do.
Thank you, James. Guillaume Balaguer. Guillaume,
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Yes.
we can.
Hi. Thank you, Simon. Hi, Pep. Have you been in touch with managers from La Liga or Bundesliga, trying to see what they've learned from the first games that they've been playing? And if you haven't, have you been watching the games anyway? And what have you learned from those games?
First, I didn't speak with them about this. But the situation of them is completely different in our situation. Germany had 6 weeks. It's a double that we had. 5 weeks in Spain is almost double that we had, and the situation is completely different. And every club and every team in the way they training is completely different. I think we have the results of the GPS information about the players in every training session and the feeling, the smell about how they feel. I think this is the most important thing right now. And the second question, Guillaume, sorry.
Guillaume? You still there, Guillaume?
I think. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Guillaume, the second question, sorry.
Yeah. Have you watched the games and anything you may have learned from it?
Yeah. No, I learned that, it was a little bit weird by, at home, watching the games, the people, playing this kind of activities, like all the public activities of people is strange. We know it. But I learned like one team, especially in Spain, Germany a little bit less, but in Spain, a team like play incredible well. The first day, the second day, last 30 minutes, 35 minutes, if they don't rotate it or change match, they go down. In terms of the rhythm, in terms of everything, they go down immediately. So I think it's going to happen. It will be up and downs in during the games, and especially the 2 or 3 games in a row. It will be a lot of up and downs about the behaviors. That's normal.
Thank you, Guillaume. Katie Warburton. I've unmuted you, Katie.
Sorry, Simon, it's Andy Dunn. I was having some technical trouble, so my
Andy,
partner's
apologies.
iPad.
Say hi to Katie.
Anyway, hi. Yeah. Do you, just following on from how you said there's ups and downs physically in matches, do you see yourself using 5 substitutes in a game? And do you think that gives the big clubs a big advantage?
I think what we have for this is the protection the players to get injured. So the fact, the real advantage for that in this period is to avoid, when you are in the limit to get, to get injured, to avoid it as much as possible. Even with that, there will be a lot of injuries. This is my feeling. Is the advantage or not? I don't know.
Thank you, Andy. Jonathan Smith from goal.com.
Hello, Pep. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah, you've been talking about the rotation and obviously the tight schedule. Does this give an opportunity for some of the academy players? And could you give us some of the names that have been training with you?
Well, due a reduce or a lack of being tested, all the staff and all the players, because before it was 50 or 40, after 45 or 60. So we called the academy players that lives in Manchester, close to Manchester. We could not, we don't want to call people live in Spain or in Holland or in other places to come here, stay isolated in CFA or here in the academy, like the academy is closed or maybe don't have an apartment. And that's why we call these guys. Of course, we start with Cole, with Taylor, or we know him, the Felix Nemecha. We have players that we train with us and they train incredibly well. But we're trying to survive with the players that we have in the first team. But of course, if we need him, we have these 5 or 6 players, no more than that, because we didn't have the opportunity to call more players to do more tests because we're not allowed to train with us.
Thank you, John. Ian Abrahams next from TalkSport, please. Ian.
Hi, Pep.
Hi. Sorry.
Just moving on from that last point about young players. Roy Hodgson yesterday was saying that a lot of teams are going to be blooding young players. Do you think this is going to be a great opportunity for young players to make their way in the game in this country? I'm talking about young English players.
Yeah, of course. Depends on the lack of less players, more games. Just they have to be ready. At the end, the young players deserve to be played when they want it. They want to stay. They want to. They are good players. They work hard, and in that moment, they have the opportunity. Yeah.
Ian, thank you. Simon Bashkowski next from the Manchester Evening News.
Hi, Pep. Hi. Arsenal have played a few friendlies in the build-up to this. Did you organise any friendlies for City, and what was your thinking for doing that or not doing that?
No, we played a friendly game between each other in the Etihad Stadium last week to see just the protocol we have to use in the locker room, what we have to do, and a little bit, play without the spectators in our stadium. We play just one game at home between each other because I didn't want to take risk, and I guess we can practice and talk between each other better.
Simon, thank you. Jamie Jackson from The Guardian.
Hi, Pep. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Pep. Kevin De Bruyne said last month that if the full 2-year Champions League ban was upheld by CAS, he would consider his future at Manchester City. Is that fair enough? What's your opinion on Kevin? He's obviously one of your best players saying that.
Well, I don't know what exactly he said. This is normal for everyone in the club. So I know the UEFA and the club make the hearings last 10 days ago. So at the end of this month or the beginning of July, we'll know the resolution, the sentence. Hopefully it's going well. The next season, if we deserve it on the pitch, play the Champions League next season.